Hello, coaches. It's Sherry Prindle, and I always like to try and provide value for you. And frankly, it breaks my heart when I see so many talented coaches like you not banking and making money, making a difference, doing what you're good at and what you love. So I've recently been introduced through Jeff Klein at the Speaker Co-op to Michaela Smith, and she's got this really neat group of coaches called Karma Coaching, but with K and K, which is pretty clever with a K. So I just thought if Michaela and I could have a nice conversation about, your success, Michaela, as a coach, and
Yeah,
what you think it takes to be successful, and why you started this Karma Coaches to fill whatever that need was.
absolutely. And then thank you so much. I so appreciate it. And I so appreciate your time. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, a little over 10 years now. And I previously owned a company for 9, and then I sold that business. And so then I decided to go into coaching. And one of the things that I realized in the coaching world is that there's a couple pieces. There's not everybody has to build their own website, and then once they build their own website, then they have to do all their own SEO, then they have all their own SEM, then they don't necessarily have a community to be able to build with, and then there's not necessarily a whole lot of collaboration with that. So I was like, oh man, you know what, it would be super cool is to be out for that, to like play that kind of a game. And so with Karma Coaches, what we're out to do is to be able to connect, create, and transform the world through coaching. And so what we do with Connect is the more we connect to ourselves as a coach, the more we get to connect with others. And create is creating something new with the client. And so whether through a question or a statement that causes for them to think about something new or experience something new. And then transform is that transformation happens both within the client and also within the coach. And that's a piece that creates a powerful impact in our lives that allows for that ripple effect to happen, and it allows for myself to impact other people as a coach and also as a client, because I enjoy being coached. And then also as a client aspect of that ripple effect in their lives too. It creates a massive, massive impact. So for me, I'm very passionate about coaching and absolutely love the Karma Coaches platform too.
So we believe in that, right? But here we are. We have 10 years of experience in the business world as well, and we have 5 years of experience as a speaker, and we got our coaching certification, and we feel like we really know what we're doing there. We've done a couple of pro bono or cheap clients, right? But now we're really still frustrated because we can't quite quit our day job, right? So so what did it take for you to, because to really make it to where you were 100% full-time doing exactly what you love to do?
Yep.
What did it take for you? Because I do an event called the Star Marketing Summit where people just kind of share, this is what I did, because that's helpful. And then what is it that you feel like these wonderful people who are coaches that aren't making it, what are they
Yeah.
missing, and how do you maybe provide fill that gap?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is multiple questions. So if I have another question, I might have to I might have to ask to make sure I answered all of them. So I think one of the pieces that I see in the business world is that the biggest fear is to just jump in and do it. I think that that piece is, as for myself, my experiences is that if I just jump in and I just do it all, and I create it all, and I create all the connections I possibly can, and I tell every single person that I know what I'm up to. It's interesting because every time that happens, wouldn't you know, something else shows up. And wouldn't you know, a new client shows up, or wouldn't you know that like somebody signs up, or wouldn't you know that like I know in my previous business, one of the things that I would do is I had a list of people that I would walk through if I hadn't heard from them in a long time. I would just call. And boy, wouldn't you know, by the end of all those calls, I'd be like, wow, I'm like booked up and busy. How cool is that? And so that jump, that need to be able to do something that is a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's all about the ask. And it's always about asking people for either help or asking people for a need or a necessity. The other piece is in pricing and structuring business and some of that aspect, is being able to really be clear on who am I and what is it that I offer to the world. Because if that is not clear, then there is no way that that direction is going to be. And in coaching, one of the observations that I've had is a lot of coaches have a view that they're going to be everything to everybody. And you can't be everything to everybody, because it's, for me, like in my own coaching practice, I use meditation as a form for transformation. That's my specialty. That is what I do. And that is what creates a profound difference in people's lives. But in the context of me saying, oh yeah, and also I'm a business coach, and also I'm a life coach, and also I'm a career coach. No, that's not who I am. Yes, I have business background. Yes, I've sold a business. Yes, I've done all these things. But in the lane that I have picked, I'm a meditation coach. That's what I do. That's what I help cause to move forward. So focus is super important. So on the Karma Coaches platform, we actually have coaches that pick their lane. And so if they say, oh, well, I'd like to do this type of coaching and that type of coaching, well, pick a lane that allows for you to actually attract and create the clients that you want and desire. So that was one piece. And I think there was one last question that I don't think I answered the question
Yeah,
to.
but before that, just a couple of things. I love the things that you said. So first question, you get on the phone and you call these people. Do any of them, when you call them, say, I can't believe you called me, and shun you and are mean to you to where you should just dread calling? I know the answer, but do you know what I'm getting at, right? Does that ever happen?
It's our ego that says that they're going to be like the worst person ever in the whole entire world, and why would they ever think that I'm calling, and oh my goodness, and it's like, and no, usually it's like, oh hey Michaela, I haven't heard from you in a while, how's it going?
Because I've never called anybody and had them be anything but, it's nice to hear from you. Thanks anyway. I'm really busy right now. Or always polite, right?
Yeah.
Or the whole, actually, this is a really good timing. I can't talk right now, something, but it's always polite. And even if they say, well, and part of that is we run businesses with scruples, right? So we're not trying to spam people. We're not trying to tell people one thing and offer them something else and bait and switch them. So if you've got an ethical business, then usually calling people is not a problem, right?
Or even better yet, my favorite calls are is whenever I call and you get a little nervous, you get a little sweaty, and like the whole thing. But then you call and you like breathe before the call, and then they're like, Michaela, I am so grateful that you called, because you were on my mind actually just the other day, and I have been meaning to call you because I really want to work with you on this space and that space and this space. Can we schedule a call like tomorrow? Would tomorrow work? And it's so funny because like in your head you're like, well yeah, tomorrow works. And then all of a sudden there's like that oh my gosh, like this is becoming possible, like this is what's here. And like in that conversation, that's what gets created. And that, I think, is just like putting yourself out there and then allowing for people to show up as who they are.
I think what you just said is actually kind of cool, because coaches, think about a time when that happened, when you did sort of make the ask and you got the yes. And then I do find that when that happens, then more of those come. It somehow opens a channel for those kinds of things to come. And then you get into a space where you're like, oh, I'm confident now, I can do this. And then you don't do it for a while and you lose the confidence again, right? And you're like, oh, and you lose sight of it. It's possible. This is the funniest part, is you might think, okay, once I do this one time, I'm home free. No. Done it a while, you start losing track of the fact that it's possible yet again, which is part of the reason a community is so important. And I like that vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And just being able to do it on a daily basis. It's a daily practice. It's just like a meditation practice. Every single day, get the opportunity to close your eyes, breathe, and then open your eyes again and go, okay, now start my day. Like that's it. That's all meditation really is at the end of the day, is being able to just be with ourselves for a minute and then open our eyes again, and okay, on to the next one. And so it's just that same practice of like in business, how do we practice that on a daily basis to make sure that that consistently shows up? Because if my network isn't getting any bigger, then there's probably an issue with that, because my network needs to get bigger. My network needs to have a bigger experience and more people and more relationships. Like, oh man, the impact that we get to have on people's lives is just amazing.
And people might want to know, you said that when you call these people, you focus on what their needs are. Would you mind kind of giving us a quick soundbite, like when after you do your greeting and build your rapport, then
Yeah.
what might be kind of that inquiring question that you might ask when you're calling somebody?
Yeah, so for me with meditation coaching, usually what I'm out to do is create either a group or one-on-one. And so, for example, I'll typically work with executives. And so they've been in business for 20, 30 years, and they've been doing the same patterns over and over again. And so for me, I just go, well, would you like to have a conversation and just like laugh a lot? Like, would that be something that would be fun for you? And usually people go, like, number one, people are kind of put off by that because they're like, wait a minute, like, just laugh, there's no investment, nothing. And so for me, and I should preface it with this, for my practice, I do it based on absolute delight. So if somebody at the end of a coaching session hasn't gotten anything from the actual conversation, time's on me. But if they say, my gosh, have I gotten a lot, then that's great. What would you like me to send? Where would you like me to send the invoice? And so from there, what creates the conversation. And so for me, I go based on joy and laughter. And so whatever people get out of that, that's what creates the conversation. And so if people really want that, then that's what ends up coming on to the other side.
So it
From
comes
a
back to being in your lane and knowing what it is that you do provide people so that you can ask them if they want that. Okay.
Exactly. And so if you're in your lane, you know who you are, you know what you provide, the rest is up to the universe. The universe always provides. There's never been a time in my entire life where the universe has not provided. Ever. Financially, relationships, anything. Money, nothing.
Beautiful.
Ever.
Beautiful. Trust, faith, karma, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So there we are. We're coaches. And by the way, thank you for doing the lane thing. I did not tell her to do that, but every time with my coaches, that's my biggest conversation with them is they say, okay, Sherry, I'm ready to work with you to help me market. And I'm like, okay, who's your target audience? What problem do you solve? And they're like, I don't know, da, da, da. And I'm like, we cannot do it. It would be a waste of effort. I don't mean we can't, but we could waste a bunch of time and energy doing a bunch of social media and doing it right. But if you don't know, if you can't answer that question, it really is a waste of effort. Put all of your energy into that first, right? And it's weird how it takes many of us years to figure out the lane when actually it's the one you were in when you started. It's the lane you've always been in, and you've been in it for so long that it's just the water you swim in and you take it for granted. And who here really has thought, when you heard Michaela, who here has thought meditation coach, you can't make a living being a meditation coach. And you think she's doing life coaching, but who does she say she's working with? Executives. So there's the other side of it too. I couldn't work with a business. I couldn't work with an executive that she's basically kind of just crashing through a lot of those misconceptions. So, I mean, I just love to like see that modeling. And if you have anything else you want to say in that area, please do. But, I had just a conversation with you, and I feel like that many of my graduates of the Professional Coach Academy and the Star Marketing Summit might really benefit from being a part of a community of coaches, depending on what it is that being a part of that community provides. So would you kind of give us a sense of what is that? And I know the investment is not very high. It's very reasonable. It's very affordable for coaches. So let me have you just kind of give, and even me too, because I'm trying to figure out which level to get in on. So I want to hear a little bit more as well.
There's all the levels, all the stuff. Yeah, it's great. So with Karma Coaches, what we do is we really create a community of collaboration and connection. And so as I had said before, that's the space that is sometimes lagging. And so some coaches get so into their world and they're working, but then all of a sudden they pop out of it and they go, oh my gosh, I don't have anybody to like connect with, or I don't have anybody to like really create maybe other projects or collaborate with within business, or have different industries of coaches. So for example, we primarily focus on the life and the business coaching standpoint. And so what we do is we have monthly masterminds, we have our Masters Network, we've got also our book groups. And so, for example, one of the books that we've read, and I tell you what, there is one book out there that like just hits me every time, and it's The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Every single time, like, don't take things personally. Oh my gosh, as a coach, oh my goodness, that one always gets me. And so like it's just the books that we read and the impact that we're making in coaches' lives. What ends up occurring is that people are able to really create what it is that they want. And so if they need a mentor, then we have that. If they need more connections with other coaches, then absolutely. Then we also have this referral network too that has ended up happening, where coaches are referring other clients to each other. And so it's created this entire energy system, I guess you could call it, that it's karma. So what you put out is what you get back, right? And so within that, the most coaches fall under a couple memberships, either our platinum or our gold. And so our platinum and gold are basically the same service providing. It's just the price is different. So it's either $450 for a year or $50 per month. And that is the masterminds, the book groups, the any networking that we do, any events that we hold. That includes the listing and any connections that I can make. I've got a pretty big network, and so anytime a coach says, Michaela, could you please introduce me to this person? I'd really appreciate it. Absolutely, 100%. And so what we do is we then partner with organizations to provide individuals to come onto the platform. To then we just give the leads to the coaches. We right now do not take anything off of that. We just say, go run, go play, go be in the space of coaching, and just be the star that we know that you are in the space of coaching. And so and then we also support people that are new too, that are newer coaches, where we say, okay, so what does it look like to build your business plan? What does it look like to build your systems? And so really helping the community so that we really raise that, I guess, vibration and in the space of coaching. So yes.
You talk about SEO. So what you're talking about there is like the backlink. So we're listed in your directory and people come to the directory and it backlinks them to our sites and we all share each other and those types of things is what you were talking about there, right?
And so we actually give the Karma Coaches logo. And so you can put the Karma Coaches logo on your website. And then from there, then people can come back to our site and then come to yours and then do the whole thing. And so it's all mixed and mingled into everything. And so, which is really cool.
And it sounds to me like you're always looking for new ways to serve your community. And I like what you're doing. And coaches, as we think about this, you know, one of the reasons that I start things is because I want to do them. And so I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. I want this. So let me start it and invite some people to pay a nominal fee to make it worth my while, to expand it out beyond myself. And boom, there you go. It sounds like that's sort of your motivation as well, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I want a great community. Let me create one, right?
Exactly. And a community of vibrant people that show up, that we create communication in between all of us and really create it so that it's a force, because that's what we're about. It's all a force.
So, hey, either way, I know that you're just always open for a conversation with people, but we also want to check out the Karma Coaches website and that kind of thing. So kind of give us all the digits that we need to know. And
yeah. So Karma Coaches is just KARMA and then KOACHES.com. So with 2 Ks. made sure that it's as confusing as possible, but definitely very fun. But the only reason why we did 2Ks is because if you invert one of the Ks, it becomes a butterfly, which is our logo. And so there you go. And so we're all about transformation, being able to grow and expand. And you're always welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. And it's just Michaela Smith. And so if you have any questions, definitely connect with me there, and would certainly appreciate that too.
Well, what a great conversation. And I just enjoyed our conversation on the phone so much. I wanted to bring it out to the other
Yeah,
coaches because this isn't a competition. There's plenty of opportunity for coaches out there. And the more connected we are, the more we kind of open up that channel.
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I so
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.